Welcome back, fellas. So, this week's video is a mech analysis video on the Schwarzette Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch from Mercury. Like the Ferract Gundam, the Schwarzette Gundam is another of the mech designs that I liked in this show, regardless of my less than favorable impression of the anime itself. The Schwarzette Gundam is a mobile suit that was designed by Jaturk Heavy Machinery. Originally, the machine was commissioned as a proof of concept model for the next generation mobile suit product line for the company following the completion and final stage testing of the Darabald before its official product release. So it didn't start off as a Gundam, but there were several costly setbacks to the Schwarzsette's development regarding its AI support system for its drone suite, which was supposed to be integrated into the pilot's control system for the mobile suit itself. As seen on the Darabald, where the AI should have been used in conjunction with its pilot, the vision for the Schwarzette were for more drone units and overall better performance than the Darabald. But the control system proved too much of an undertaking currently for Jeturk Heavy Machinery, especially when they were in a crunch for time since they competed with other companies of the Benerit Group for the top spots in the group and the benefits such positions afforded them. So the machine was put in development limbo until something could be done to rectify the drone control problem. However, all of that changed with Soleta Mercury's enrollment into the Academy and the defeat of Gueljaturk. In both the company's currently mainlined Alanza and the next generation Darabald at the hands of the Gundam Ariel. Where in the aftermath of the aforementioned duel results, which didn't bode well for Jeturk, a clandestine meeting between Jeturk Heavy Machinery and Shinsei Development Corporation. The shell company started by Soleta's mother, Prospera Mercury, and several other like-minded people who shared her end goal, took place, and development data from Ariel was shared with Vim Jeturk, the current CEO of Jeturk Heavy Machinery, and applied to the Schwarzette. In the simplest solution, if the AI couldn't handle the drones and aid in the main machine's handling, then let the pilot control them both. So the Gundam system was installed as the new control system for the mobile suit and its remote units, and as a result, the Schwarzette was reborn as a Gundam. When I think about it, I should have done a video on Ariel first, but oh well, I'll do that for the next video. Moving on. However, unlike the unclear intentions and goals of Pale Technologies for the Ferract Gundam, mentioned in my previous video, Vim Jeturk had no problem eliminating the current head of the Benerit Group, Delling Rembrandt, which could open up changes to the group's policy regarding Gundams, development, manufacturing, and sales-wise. Speaking of the Ferract Gundam, the Schwarzette also shared in the Ferract's fate within the entirety of the series runtime. Actually, it was a bit worse for the Schwarzette, since the machine made its entrance into the series proper about 3 episodes before the anime ended, and had little to no screen time with it only having one proper sortie, where even that was questionable. Since this awesome high-spec machine was hijacked and used by a forgettable tertiary character in the form of Gwell's half-brother, Lauda Neal, to throw a hissy fit by blaming Mio Rene Rembrandt for a majority of his family's current misfortune, where Gwell needed to intercept him in his Delanza and literally pacify his tantrum-throwing brother. After which it was recovered and stored in their ship's hangar alongside the Ferract, where both machines were used in that seizure-inducing light show to halt a colony laser cannon attack and disable it, where just like the Ferract, the Schwarzette disintegrated into particles afterwards. This brings an end to the Schwarzette's very brief history of existence. Although, even with the dissolution of the Benerit Group, J-Torque Heavy Machinery was one of the very few companies still functional, so it's unknown whether another machine like the Schwarzette would be in development. Even if not as a Gundam, since the capabilities of the Schwarzette shouldn't be lost on Gwell after he personally fought against it, and then became the company's president. After all, Jeturk Heavy Machinery is still a mobile suit manufacturing company, but we'll never know. Now, on to the tech specs. The Schwarzette uses the same design principles as other mobile suit series from G-Turk Heavy Machinery. A robust frame that supports being heavily armed and armored, while at the same time having a good amount of mobility. Not enough to fly under gravity, but could traverse distances under such conditions at high speeds, as well as maneuver quite well in space. With that said, it's unknown whether the Schwarzette could fly, since it was only seen operating in space, but it most likely could, given that it has a flight configuration similar to aerial with the aid of its swarm weapons. As for armaments, the Schwarzette is equipped with a pair of beam Vulcans on its head for interception and damaging or destroying lightly armored targets. A pair of forearm-mounted grenade launchers that could fire shotgun-styled scattering explosive ordnance clusters for enemies that are getting too close. It's unknown whether it could fire any other type of ammunition, though, but I'd like to think it can switch ammunition types depending on its needs. And finally, the main armament of the Schwarzette is a custom beam sword. What's unique about this weapon is that while it's a beam sword, that relies on high-energy beam particles that are compressed into a blade by a containment field. That exposes any material it is in contact with to the contained beam particles once the containment field is broken by contact with said material, thereby destroying the molecular bonds of that material. This beam sword has a physical track running along the entirety of the sword like a real blade. But this track has two functions. The first one is to generate a more powerful containment field around it for higher particle density and compression rates of those particles, giving it significantly higher potency as a melee-oriented beam weapon than conventional beam sabers, which rely solely on the field generator positioned in the hilt for its containment field. The second use for this weapon is as the dock for the Schwarzette's swarm units, collectively called the Guardian. The swarm weapons are individually called bit staffs. There are a total of 6 of these swarm units that come in 2 types: a long blade frame for attack and a shorter shield frame, defense-oriented type, which comes in a ratio of 4:2 respectively, when all of the bit staffs are docked onto the blade. It is called the Guardian Sheath Unit, which functions as both a buster sword and a beam Gatling gun, since the beam weapons of the staff bits are still available in Guardian Sheath mode. It really all depends on what sort of weapon the Schwarzette requires to deal with the situation it's in, when the situation requires the deployment of all of the swarm units. The configuration is called Guardian Draw Mode, where the 4 sword bits are used for offense and the 2 shield bits are used for defense by generating electromagnetic fields. All of these in combination with the Schwarzette wielding its beam sword and other integrated weapons make a challenging situation for any enemy to overcome. The final configuration is called Guardian Marionette Mode, where the staff bits are docked to hardpoints on the Schwarzette's frame, which give it enhanced maneuverability and speed like the aerial's flight mode. This mode also serves another function, which is to resupply and recharge the bits for another round of attacking. Finally, there is one more use for the staff bits. This is called the Omni-Azimuth Laser, which is its beam spamming configuration, where all of the bits are fired simultaneously that causes massive damage in either a wide area or towards a single direction. This function is usable in both Guardian Draw Mode and Guardian Sheath Mode. That brings an end to all of the technical details of the Schwarzette. So now onto my own analysis. The Schwarzette, in my opinion, is the strongest Gundam introduced in G-Witch. Yes, even better than its cousin. Season 2, Aerial. The reason they're cousin machines is because both use development data from Season 1 Aerial. But Schwarzette had a different manufacturer and frame design principles derived from its manufacturer's previous lines of mobile suits. In any case, spec for spec, the Schwarzette is definitely better, barring the plot device installed onto Aerial, that is. In addition, the Schwarzette doesn't have a problem that hasn't been rectified from Season 1 regarding Aerial in its Season 2 form, And that is that Ariel's effectiveness in combat takes a dive when environmental conditions that do not favor beam weapons are present. As seen in the prior duel against the Darabald, its swarm units were rendered moot because of some light rain from the Academy's environmental control system, forcing it to rely on its beam saber against a close-quarter specialized machine and pilot. Sure, Ariel would have overall better performance after its rebuild, but its close quarters options are still limited. Doesn't matter if it has a Buster Cannon configuration now, since a famous line used in various Gundam series holds true here. No matter how powerful the beam is, if it can't hit you, it's useless. The Schwarzette, on the other hand, is almost like a Swiss army knife, or maybe more like Iron Man from Endgame, where his suit could adopt any weapon configuration he would need. No matter the situation, long range, mid range, close range, anti beam environment, space, or Earth, the Schwarzette has the right tool for the job, having a good complement of beam and physical weaponry. And this wasn't something only recently engineered into Schwarzette by Jeter Heavy Machinery. Every mobile suit series from them carried good overall performance and versatility, where these features were refined and improved with each successive model, culminating in the Schwarzette. And this machine could have either been a powerful ally Gundam or dangerous antagonist Gundam if used in a different series. But unfortunately, like the Faract, this awesome Gundam had no chance to shine in this horrid series, causing its cool visuals and design to be squandered in this meandering story. Where I'm certain that, like the Faract, the Schwarzette's mech designs also boosted model kit sales for this dismal anime. But what do you guys think? I'll end the video here. Till next time, bye.